going on, Tallahassee? We've officially reached the second half of April. Welcome to our Tuesday, April 16th edition of FSU Weather. I'm meteorologist Jay Karstens.
And I'm student meteorologist Colleen Peterson. We have a great show ahead of you for you guys. It's been sunny weather.
Yeah, even better than the show we're going to have for you is the weather outside today. If you got out there this morning, maybe a little bit on the chilly side. Actually, one of our coolest lows of the month at 43 degrees, but those temperatures rebounded once the sun really got itself going, and it could not have been a better day
Yeah,
outside.
I love these temperatures where it's the big jump, where it's maybe in the mid-50s at night, and then it gets all the way up to the low 70s during the day. It's not too hot, and it's not too cold.
Yeah, and we'll see that kind of continuing for the next day or two before, of course, our next weather maker is going to be rolling its way into the region here, and that's going to bring with it the threat for some potential severe weather, although there are still some uncertainties with that.
Yeah, Thursday evening we can expect the showers to start rolling its way in with some potential for some severe weather branching all the way from New Orleans to our area.
Yeah, we'll talk about this later with our national segment. This is actually going to be really starting tomorrow in the central and southern plains and move into other portions of the southeast. And these are, of course, areas that really don't need any semblance of severe weather, although you can never really, need severe weather or any stretch of the imagination. But again, with all the tornadic activity we saw in Louisiana, Mississippi, other states like that, be on extra alert if you're in those regions the next couple of days.
Yes, I would be on extra alert. Make sure you're watching your local news stations for tornado warnings this upcoming few days. But now we're going to sit it on over to Michael at the wall for the overview.
Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm Zach Law with your local forecast here in Tallahassee. We're looking at our FSU Doak Campbell Stadium camera right here, taking a live look, and we're seeing clear skies and sunny conditions, and that about sums up the day we had here in Tallahassee today. Nice, cool conditions, sunny skies all day. Currently here in Tallahassee, we're seeing sunny skies with a temperature of 81 degrees and some calm winds. So we're looking at our national weather map here, and the big story here is this low pressure system sitting right out here around the Four Corner states, and that really has a chance to make some severe weather coming into Thursday. And we're also seeing this high pressure system sitting over here around South Carolina that is giving us some warm conditions for the past few days. And there's that low pressure system coming through. And tonight we're seeing clear, calm conditions, 56 degrees, clear skies. And into tomorrow, we'll be seeing dry and sunny conditions, and we'll be seeing a severe threat into Thursday night. I'm now passing it off to Colleen.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, we had a beautiful day today. The sun is still shining over Doak. We're just a few minutes past 6 o'clock, and you can expect the sunshine to stick around for tomorrow. But look at these temperatures right now. We are about normal, 81 degrees. The average is right around 80, so we are seeing this mid-spring weather. Currently, we're sitting at 81 in Tallahassee. Further up north, a little bit cooled off in Thomasville at 77. 81 in Perry, and a little bit cooler down at the coast, 71. But it is fairly dry out here. We have the dew points in the low 40s, so it's feeling beautiful out there. Sunny, sunny skies across the board, as well as smiling faces, Monticello, all the way around. Dry conditions. Not a lot going on because it's fairly dry out there, but that is yet to come. We do have this front beginning to form over on the west, and that can make its way into our area, raising our chances for severe weather as we go into Thursday. But tomorrow we can expect sunny skies. A great day to walk your dog, 64 degrees, 74. Nothing's worse than going out and walking your dog in 40 degrees temperatures. I'm happy spring is right here. Now tomorrow, this is the chance for severe weather. The further west you go, the higher the chance for severe weather, which could mean a possible isolated tornado or heavier rain showers. Tonight's forecast, 55 in Tallahassee, 55 in Perry, mid-50s across the whole border for tonight's forecast. Going on to our 7-day, 84 degrees for tomorrow and Thursday. You see that 80% chance comes back into the forecast and sticks around until we get to around Saturday. But now we're going to take a wider look at the southeast with Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Colleen. It was a very nice day once again across the southeast, but a little bit warmer compared to yesterday, as temperatures are starting to moderate behind that cold front we received going into late Sunday into early Monday. You can see 75 degrees right now in Atlanta under fair skies. 81 in Tallahassee, that was our high temperature for today. 80 in Montgomery, very nice day across the eastern section of the southeast, but you notice the clouds already starting to increase across the western sections ahead of our next storm system, which will be bringing some severe weather for Texas going into tomorrow as that low pressure system emerges out into the plains. The dew point still relatively low in the eastern section of the southeast, and so that will result in another coolish night with that drier air still over place, but the moisture already starting to increase on the western sections of the southeast, with dew points in the upper 40s to around the low to mid 50s, with 55 in Shreveport and 49 in Jackson. Also a little bit of moisture in central and south Florida, and that's usually the case as those cold fronts don't really get their full effect as they go through central and south Florida. Now, satellite and radar shows you we do have high pressure still situated across the southern Appalachians, but our next storm system is already taking shape in the Intermountain West. The low is going to emerge into the central plains as we go into tomorrow, and that will increase the severe weather threat with an enhanced risk over northern Texas, central Oklahoma, and southern Kansas. We'll show you that in just a little bit. Yeah, so it's a mostly clear skies over the southeast with the clouds already increasing. A nice day in Augusta National and down towards Hilton Head where the PGA Tour is this week, and that's going to continue for the next few days. But the clouds will increase in the western sections of the southeast as we go into tomorrow and especially into Thursday. But the next 48 hours shows you how high pressure moves off towards the east, and those winds will become southerly ahead of our next storm system. You can see the squall line developing, moving through Texas and into the southern portions of the Mississippi River Valley. A few severe storms might be embedded in this, and it might be a little bit breezy once again ahead of that squall line you see right along the Mississippi River Valley as we go into Thursday evening. For your storm outlook for tomorrow, Texas and Oklahoma are the main players as we go into your Wednesday, with an enhanced risk including Oklahoma City up towards Tulsa, Dallas, Wichita Falls, and those locations, and a slight risk around that down towards Austin. Little Rock is under a slight risk as we go into your Wednesday as well, and then a marginal risk for severe weather down towards Houston. But the chances of severe weather will be highest in the Dallas metro region and the Oklahoma City metro region for tomorrow. As we go into Thursday, that threat of severe weather does shift into New Orleans and into Vicksburg and into Jackson, Mississippi. Those are some of the places that are in the highest threat for severe weather on Thursday. A slight risk will be in Memphis, Birmingham, Mobile, and up towards Tupelo, so the risk is slightly lower there. And then on the edge of the risk is Atlanta and Tallahassee under a marginal risk, and that's going to go really into the overnight hours of Thursday and into very early Friday morning. That's when the risk will be for Atlanta and Tallahassee. But for tonight, another cool night across the eastern section of the southeast with partly cloudy skies in Atlanta and Tallahassee, both under 55 degrees. Warmer conditions across the western portion of the southeast with the moisture starting to increase, as you already saw, with low 60s, 60 in Little Rock and 61 in Shreveport. And then for tomorrow, another nice day across the eastern sections and warmer compared to today with mostly cloudy skies in Atlanta and Tallahassee, 82 in Atlanta, 84 in Tallahassee. But you notice that the clouds are already increasing in the western sections of the southeast ahead of that new system in Texas with 76 in Little Rock and 77 in Shreveport. The warmer conditions are always down towards central and south Florida with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s with 85 in Orlando and 87 in Tampa. So a very nice day again overall across the southeast before changes do come Thursday. Now I'm going to head it back over to the desk with Jake and I, and we're going to talk about an interesting phenomenon that we will see in about an hour and a half-ish, a sunset.
Well, interesting, maybe a bit of a stretch there, just considering, we see one of these things every day, unless, of course, there's significant cloud cover. But as I've said for a long time here, Tallahassee is a very underrated sunset city, and we're going to explain to you guys in advance of tonight's just exactly why you see that reddish tint.
Yeah, and it all has to do with the particles you see in the atmosphere and also the wavelengths, as you can see right here. And based on your vantage point as well.
Yeah, so the point of this is at nighttime, when the sun is nearing the horizon, sunlight has to travel further to reach your eye. And basically what's going to happen here, is blue and violet light, some of these more high energy types of light, have shorter wavelengths. And therefore, because they have to travel a longer distance, these are most likely to be scattered by the air and dust particles that you observe in the atmosphere.
Yeah, if you remember from any of your classes in high school or in college, that's blue and violet, the shorter wavelengths, red are longer wavelengths, and so the longer wavelengths don't get scattered out, and so you can see red and orange, those longer wavelengths, you'll get to see based from your eyes and the angle you see at the horizon.
Yeah, and with that lack of cloud cover, that's going to really not be a big issue for tonight here. Some of the potential consequences here are pretty phenomenal. I'm going to show you this picture that I took back in November here as an example of a beautiful reddish sunset tint. This is one I took back on November 2nd because I plug it all the time. It was my favorite sunset of all time and shows you exactly all that's occurring.
Yeah, sunset with no clouds is amazing. I think the best sunset is with just a little bit of those cirrus clouds. It adds a little bit of more an effect and just scatters the light a little bit more.
Yeah, it always seems to look just a little bit nicer when we get those cold fronts that came through. That was one of those days where we had a front come right through the region and those clouds cleared out just in time for what was just a beautiful, beautiful night. We'll see another one of those tonight. Yeah. For now, we're going to talk about a couple of areas of disturbed weather across the country. I'm going to go out to the wall now talking about our national weather here. So we start off with our temperatures across a big chunk of the country here, and we're starting to already see a little bit of evidence of that increased warming here in areas like Texas and New Mexico, where those temps are climbing up into the 70s, even a little bit towards 80 degrees here. Some rain-cooled spots as well in places like Oklahoma City down towards Dallas and even towards the Texas Panhandle in the Lubbock and Amarillo regions. 80s for the majority of the state of Florida. And as we look at those dew points, that moisture is beginning to settle in as well, and you see the really big contrast as you work your way across the state of Texas with the 59-degree dew point currently observed at Dallas-Fort Worth, although those values are dropping as you move off to the west rather substantially, with some areas closer towards El Paso and Albuquerque down towards the 20-degree mark here. And again, that drier air also settling into portions of Florida based on this high-pressure system that we're seeing over the mid-Atlantic states, right over the Appalachian Mountains here, that easterly flow working into the Tallahassee region. Plenty of land interaction with that, not too much of that Gulf moisture that we're really seeing towards the summertime months around here. Although as we look off to the west, we're seeing our next rainmaker starting to take shape over towards the Intermountain West. Some rain showers already working into areas like Denver up towards parts of Montana in the Intermountain West and the Rocky Mountains. Before we get into that, let's talk about an area of disturbed weather currently over the over Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. Buffalo, we always, of course, see the lake effect snow that occurs in the wintertime. But this time it's all rain here as we work, of course, towards mid-April here. A steady stream of rainfall from the lower peninsula of Michigan all the way down towards the northern suburbs of Philadelphia and even stretching into New Jersey just a little bit. And again, as we move towards the Intermountain West, some spotty showers, and in the higher elevations, a little bit of snowfall. Some of that mountain forcing here as you lift the air up the mountain with these winds largely out of the west here. You see that to the west side of Denver. Areas like Boulder getting in on a little bit of rain and even some snowfall action. But over the next 24 hours, that's when we're really going to start to see things change here. Again, that ridging still persisting over the southeast for the next day or so. But as I step off to the side here, this low pressure that's currently over the Intermountain West and sparking some of that shower and storm activity will begin to move its way into the plains here. And by tomorrow night, we're looking at a pretty favorable setup for some severe weather, especially in Oklahoma as well as Texas, some of the more traditional areas that you see these severe storms really popping up here. So that'll be a threat for tomorrow evening into the overnight hours, really with an enhanced risk of severe storms over here. And that will begin to shift its way off to the east as we work into Thursday as well. So again, for tomorrow, this enhanced level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather, and this is a big-time hail threat in particular for these locations from southern Kansas all the way down through Waco, down Interstate 35, and even into the northwestern suburbs of Houston and over towards the Austin and San Antonio metro regions. Although a severe risk does persist as far north as Madison, Wisconsin. And as for Thursday here, that threat shifts to the east in a location that really does not need any semblance of severe weather after what we saw over the weekend. For example, the tornado that impacted Starkville, Mississippi on Sunday night. Slight risk pushes all the way into the Florida Panhandle, just off to the west of Tallahassee, right around the Apalachicola River. Should be the boundary for that, maybe just a little bit further west. Panama City, Pensacola, Destin getting in on the slight level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. But as for tonight, the storms really start to take shape in parts of Texas. 66 degrees in Dallas with wind being a bit of a factor there. 68 in San Antonio. And then for tomorrow's forecast, again, we see the threat of severe storms really building in the late afternoon to early evening hours, especially in Texas and Oklahoma, before that threat shifts a little bit further to the east. But now we're going to zoom back into the Tallahassee region with Michael.
Yes, thanks, Jake. And with that ridge of high pressure over the southeast and over the Tallahassee area, another clear day, not even a single cloud in the sky over St. George Island. This is the St. George Island weather stem camera over the St. George um, Bay, Appalachian Bay. Sorry, I had a little lapse in concentration there for a moment. But it is a very nice evening out there at St. George Island. Back here in Tallahassee over Doak Campbell Stadium, you can see the sun starting to set, but it's still warm out there, 81 degrees under sunny skies with a nice calm wind. And the temperatures across the rest of the region, warm, 81 in Bainbridge, 81 in Tallahassee, a little cooler down towards up towards Thomasville, 77 degrees, and our cool spot down towards the coast usually, 71 in Apalachicola, all of us under sunny skies. And the winds very light still compared to yesterday where they were a little bit breezy with the low departing up towards the north and high pressure moving in. High pressure over us right now, so it's calm mostly with 4 miles per hour in Tallahassee, 5 in St. Mark's, and 6 in Apalachicola. Now, with high pressure still over us, we're still under that drier air. Those winds are eventually going to be southerly ahead of our next system, which will really form into tomorrow in the southern plains. And these dew points will increase as those winds do become southerly. So really enjoy the drier air out there for the next 24 to 48 hours especially. Satellite and radar still clear with high pressure over our region and across the rest of the southeast. And our next system is out towards the desert southwest and the intermountain west. You can see some showers already developing out there. It will merge into the plains, bring the severe weather threat for the southern plains, especially into tomorrow. And our severe weather threat from this system will really come Thursday night into very early Friday morning. Now for tonight's forecast, another great night out there and a little bit warmer compared to the last 2 nights. 56 degrees under mostly clear skies and calm winds. And it's a great day, great night actually for stargazing with that sunset at 8:06 p.m. and a nice cool 56-degree temperature. No, not many clouds in the sky. You're going to have great stargazing conditions. As we go into Thursday, and especially into Thursday evening and the Thursday night, that severe weather risk will increase slightly for the Panhandle and the Big Bend region. Out towards Panama City, a slight risk, meaning that the risk for severe weather is a little bit higher out there. And then in places like Liberty, Gaston, and Franklin County, under a slight risk, Tallahassee is in just a normal thunderstorm risk. But we're expecting these storms to weaken by the time they get to Tallahassee on Thursday night into Friday morning. The week ahead shows you that we'll just have to worry about that system Thursday night into Friday. But once that system does move through, it clears out. A nice cool Saturday at 72 degrees. And then Easter Sunday, great conditions, 80 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Now let's send it back to the desk with Colleen and Jake, which will talk about thunder and lightning.
Thanks, Michael. Yes, I think this is a topic most people are curious about. When you see a lightning strike, how long does it take for the thunder to reach where you are?
Yeah, particularly relevant given what we're going to be seeing Thursday night into Friday here. So here is the answer. They're 1 mile just about for every 5 seconds here. So if you see that lightning flash, count how many seconds it takes you to hear the thunder, and that should give you at least a crude estimate of how far away from you that lightning strike in fact was, which is obviously really important.
Yes, you can see that house over there situated. That's about a mile away from where the lightning strike was. And, you know, I thought this whole time it was 1 second per 1 mile. So I was very curious about this revelation once I actually studied it and realized the speed of thunder really relates to how hot or cold it is outside.
Yeah, so the speed of sound actually to some extent does vary with the temperature, and that's actually, if you ever been to like a baseball game or something, you hear a ball hitting the bat and you try to count that time as well between, you know, how you know, when you see that and when you hear that sound. It actually does depend. If it's a little bit hotter, that speed of thunder is just a little bit higher, about 29 miles per hour if you go from 40 to 80 degrees there, 776 miles per hour, very fast.
Yeah, but when we're talking lightning, we're talking maybe 0.2 seconds quicker when we're talking 40 degrees to 80 degrees. So it all depends what you are talking about when it comes to speed of sound.
Yeah, and perhaps can be a little bit misleading, of course, you know, just given that, you know, if you're a mile away from a lightning strike, it's not necessarily a sign of safety, of course. Colleen will take things out to the wall, but, you know, as we're lightning strikes can occur well outside of thunderstorms. It doesn't exactly have to be raining for that to happen, right?
Yes, exactly. We can talk about lightning and thunder for about a whole half an hour, but right now we're going to take it on over to around Florida. The winds right now, they're situated fairly light in Tallahassee, 3 miles per hour. But if we get down south, Miami is picking up a little bit at 10 miles per hour across the region. But if we look at the dew point, sitting fairly dry out there. Tallahassee is the driest spot on the map, 43. Going down the coast, Miami is a little bit muggy out there as we see smiles all the way around. Further down in Miami, it's staying a little bit muggy, but I think these are still very good conditions for what we have seen. Now, we do have this dominating high pressure across the southeast, bringing in sunny skies throughout our area. That is yet to change as that front begins to move its way into our region. Now, if you're curious, we are still under a drought. We do have dry conditions up in the Panhandle. Further over west of Panama City, we do have slighter, drier conditions. Tonight's forecast, you can expect 55 degrees in Tallahassee, 64 in Tampa, 70 in West Palm, getting a little bit cooler down there, down by the coast of Miami. Tomorrow, you can expect 84 degrees in Tallahassee, 87 in Gainesville, 85 in Orlando. Partly cloudy skies, but I would expect still sunny skies until we get into Thursday. Yeah, this is that storm outlook for severe weather. The further west you go in the Panhandle, the risk does increase. New Orleans all the way up to Mississippi are seeing the most enhanced risk for severe weather. This can mean a possible isolated tornado or very strong winds and rain. Tallahassee, we are on a marginal to slight risk for some severe weather across our region, so I would definitely stay tuned for the rest of the show to see exactly when those storms are expected to hit our area. But now we're going to pass things on off to Jake.
All right, Colleen. Well, as you're talking about, we're going to break down that severe threat in this segment one more time. But we'll start off, of course, with just a beautiful view from FSU Panama City. This is a WeatherStem camera set up just about an hour and a half to 2 hours west of Tallahassee. And they're seeing exactly what we're seeing. Nothing but blue skies and sunshine out there, looking like a fantastic night out there for Panama City. And it really was a beautiful day for us here in the capital city as well. 81 degrees for that high, right around the average. A pretty big swing from our morning low of 43 degrees here. Warmed up 38 degrees as we went through the daytime hours. So a bit of an adjustment there. Of course, if you dressed up a little bit more and a couple more layers there for that morning, of course, as you had to go to the t-shirt and shorts for the late afternoon hours. And across the rest of the region, temperatures largely settling right around the 80-degree point with the exception of Apalachicola. That easterly flow going over the Appalachian Bay, some more influence from the water as we go towards Franklin and Gulf counties there. So sunny skies still, but those temperatures are much lower with slightly higher dew point values to compensate for that. As we see right here, 48-degree dew point in Apalachicola, which is still far lower than what we typically see this time of year for that region. And as we go off to our north and west here, those values are even lower, 32-degree dew point up in Bainbridge in southwestern Georgia, 43 degrees here in the capital city. And again, we're seeing that with this easterly flow that's persisting through the region here. We're on the south side of a high with this clockwise flow around this high pressure center, which is currently centered over the Carolinas. That is exactly what we're expecting to see here. A pretty strong high too, ridging at the upper levels as well, helping to drive some southerly flow in towards Louisiana and Texas as well. We're starting to see evidence that frontal system working into the Texas Panhandle with some of that convergent flow, and that will be what we're going to start to see over the next 36 to 48 hours in Tallahassee. But until then, just like the satellite and radar showing you right now, not a worry in the world out there, looking like very clear skies for the rest of the evening and even as we work into the daytime tomorrow. But again, as we zoom out here, we're starting to see the evidence of our next weather system here with this low that's over the Intermountain West, helping to spark some shower and even some elevated snowfall activity, as I alluded to a little bit earlier in the Rocky Mountains and some of those other higher elevations. This will move over towards the southern plains tomorrow, setting up for a pretty respectable severe weather threat there, as we've outlined a couple of times on tonight's show. But as for tonight here in Tallahassee, looking just fantastic. 56 degrees, going to be that nighttime low. A perfect night to get outside and a little bit warmer than what we saw last night and into this morning as well. So a bit more comfortable and not going to need anything more than just the light jacket out there. Calm winds, clear skies, could not ask for a better night out there. And really that holds true for tomorrow as well, even though those temperatures will be just a touch higher during the afternoon, although about the same as what we saw today. 59 degrees as we get the day going at 8 a.m., but the mostly sunny skies will be sticking around, heating up pretty substantially by lunchtime. lunchtime into those upper 70s. So if you have those lunchtime plans, it's going to be good t-shirt and shorts weather out there. And then a high of 82 degrees, just about those lower 80s for much of the region, is what we're going to be seeing as we work into the afternoon hours. So as we go towards the week ahead here, again, that will change pretty substantially starting on Thursday. We should have some clearer skies in the morning before the rain showers and those clouds really start to build towards the early to mid afternoon hours. And again, overnight Thursday into Friday is really when we're going to be looking for our big chance for severe weather here. We're right on the line between a marginal risk of storms for Thursday as well. We'll see what happens the Friday convective outlook as the Storm Prediction Center will release that tomorrow. Although I will not be surprised to see at least a marginal risk for severe weather for our region, if not a slight risk for us, especially into the early morning hours for Friday. Once that frontal system passes on Friday, though, another just carbon copy of what we had here to start this week. 72 degrees is going to be that high on Saturday with a low of 49. Could be one of our last rounds seeing lows in the 40s for really the rest of the spring here before those temperatures heat back up in a big way to start the early portion of next week with that afternoon high of 85 degrees for Tuesday. So what do you guys think about that at the desk?
Honestly, I really like the conditions for tomorrow and also the weekend. Easter weekend's looking absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, Easter you can expect the high of 80s, lower 80s, and sunny skies. So
Yeah, we just have to worry about the storms and possible severe weather Thursday night into Friday. Most of Thursday, and honestly, the second half of Friday is looking pretty good. Just
yeah.
the overnight hours between Thursday and Friday are the kind of tricky ones.
Luckily, it's a fairly quick moving front, so it should be out of our area as we get into Friday evening and night, and Saturday you should wake up to drier conditions, lows in the 49. You see the temperatures fall off a little bit after that front passes. For our lows, we might even get 50 degrees for a few nights, and then we'll start to warm up slowly as we go into the next week. But then again, we do have drier temp conditions. So.
Yeah, Saturday's actually a little cooler than we should be for this time of year. Again, behind that cold front, some cooler air will filter in.
Yes.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, pretty typical of where we should be for the middle of April. Honestly, really gorgeous conditions for the beginning of, honestly, the last week of April. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's been going fast.
A few more weeks, then we'll be meteorologists.
Well, I have one more year.
One more year, but for some of us here at FSU Weather, we're very excited to see some sunny skies for our last week of classes across campus. So Tallahassee will be looking beautiful, but don't forget to follow us on Twitter /FSU Weather.
Yeah, and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And of course, you can't forget about the Tube. Follow us at FSU Weather on YouTube. We stream live there every time we air on the show.
Yeah, we'll give you updates about what we do expect for Thursday night into Friday on the YouTube. And finally, don't forget about that Instagram for a neat sunset picture after we talked about sunsets. So can actually take the picture out there if you are out and about tonight.
We will be tweeting live as we go into the rest of the week for what conditions you can expect in Tallahassee, even if we aren't airing. Thank you for tuning in. I'm student meteorologist Colleen Peterson.
And I'm student meteorologist Michael On, and we'll see you here at 6:01 tomorrow, Wednesday.